Let's cut right to the chase and say that Pokemon Let's Go is not going to attract hardcore Pokemon fans. To me, this game is aimed at people who grew up with the original Pokemon, you know, the red, the blue, the yellow, which is why it may seem too easy at times, especially when you add elements like experience share and co-op. But I think something like that is aimed at an older fan on purpose so they can sit down with their kids and introduce them to a game that they once loved. Co-op isn't the only new feature that's been added this time around, as the devs have taken a lot of inspiration from Pokemon Go. Now, do I think that this should be the formula going forward for core Pokemon games? Definitely not. Some of the elements, like catching multiple Pokemon just to level up your current party, just don't gel well with the game. However, there's definitely some ideas that need to be taken forward, like seeing wild Pokemon on the overworld, because it cuts out that random element and means if you don't want to grind, you don't have to, you can just run from point A to point B and avoid all the battles. Plus, there's something really funny about seeing giant Pokemon such as Onix just pop out. Look, I will admit, I was a doubter of this game, just like a lot of people were, but it's surpassed my expectations, and I would encourage anyone with a passing interest in Pokemon to try this game. Son of a bitch! Boy, where do I start with God of War? I think everyone was cautious coming into this reboot with it being such a drastic change from what the previous games were, but literally, from the first boss fight with Baldur, all my worries were cast aside. Let's start with the combat, which is so engaging, with different layers and customizations to play it your way, and although it's very challenging, it never ever feels unfair. Then there's the story, which is unbelievably complex, with many narratives woven through the main story and constant character development. Like, my personal favourite is when Atreus finds out he's a demigod and his ego becomes so inflated and he pushes everyone away and treats them like filth until he's humbled again by Kratos. And then there's this constant theme of parenthood throughout the entire thing, and I love it on so many levels. Okay, so there's some bits I don't love, which would be the challenges scattered across the lake, because they never really felt must-do, and they were just usually combat challenges, and also trying to navigate on the lake to your side quests felt very hit and miss, as the navigation tools weren't great. But when your boss fights look as epic as this, and this, and this, you forget about the small issues very, very quickly.
Well, you made me weep, and you made me moan.
Far Cry 5 is a testament to what happens when someone takes the criticisms of their past works and corrects them in the best way possible. No more do you have a map that is covered coast to coast with icons for collectibles, as exploration is included in a much more organic way by reading road signs and finding loot stashes by actually talking with NPCs. Not only that, but taking Far Cry to a more rural area is just really refreshing and makes this exploration really, really enjoyable. And thanks to co-op, nothing feels like a grind anymore, as you and your friends can run around the fields of Hope's County, shooting each other like a couple of jackasses, and pissing each other off when one of you wants to take out an enemy stronghold stealthily, and then the other jackass decides to carpet bomb it from above with an airplane. Isn't that right, Alex? The story also has some really high moments, like Jacob conditioning you to take out a resistance leader, but these highs, they come with some serious low points as well. Like, the story doesn't really have a satisfying ending regardless of the final choice of the game. Overall though, this game is just pure fun. I mean, it has a series of missions dedicated to a stuntman called Clutch Nixon, who has his own theme song, by the way. And then there's the Testy Festy side quest where you have to harvest bull testicles for people to eat. Maybe this should be my game of the year.
You told everybody.
Marvel's Spider-Man is definitely the best Spider-Man game out there, and possibly the best comic book game produced. It's a coin toss between this and the Batman Arkham series, which heavily influenced the combat in this game, like most brawlers nowadays. However, there's enough stylish differences, such as webbing up your enemies and using the environment around you to take them out, which makes it stand apart from the Batman series. But you know what's better than the combat? The story, because god damn, I laughed, I cried, I was tense. It had everything. Truly shocking moments, which I'm actually not even going to spoil for you because I want you to go play the game and see them. And then there's the dynamic between Otto and Peter Parker with like his father-son, mentor-student relationship, and it adds so much, like an entire new layer to everything that happens in the story. So what stopped this from being number one? The Mary Jane and Miles Morales sequence, they happened too often and they were just boring and too long, and it really killed the pace of the game. Like, I don't buy a game with Spider-Man as the title to play as someone else. But you don't care about that. You care about the swinging, because everyone cares about the swinging when a Spider-Man game comes out. And you know what? It's better than Spider-Man 2. It's amazing. No pun intended. I don't even know where to start with Red Dead Redemption 2. Let's start with the protagonist, Arthur Morgan, and the performance behind him, because he is genuinely the most rounded character I've ever seen in a video game. He's threatening, he's sympathetic, he's flawed, he is heartbreaking at times. He is just one of the most complex characters I've ever seen. And then you look at Dutch, which is one of the most amazing villains I've ever seen, because he isn't an evil person. He wants to see the gang thrive, but the pressure of trying to deliver his promises to this gang drives him insane. And then Dutch's relationship with Arthur and John makes his descent into madness even more powerful when you see the pain it causes them almost. And then there's the gang, and every single member of that gang is somehow made to be quite unique and have their own moments throughout the game. It's a testament to Rockstar's ability to write these grand, epic stories. For example, if they knew they were going to kill off the main character, it wouldn't be as shocking as in the first Red Dead where it came out of nowhere. So instead they flip it completely and pretty much tell you, yes, Arthur is going to die from tuberculosis. Which raises the question, what is more tragic? A sudden death out of nowhere, or the death that you know that's coming? Look, I could sit here literally all day and tell you all the reasons why Red Dead Redemption is my game of the year. The gorgeous graphics, the great use of music, the way that the world feels alive, the attention to detail with your hair growing longer over time, and how snow and mud accumulates on your character's clothes. It's not just a game, it's an experience. Now, it's not perfect. It is 100% not perfect. The physics, although it makes the kills look awesome, lead to some kind of weird looseness when I'm trying to get in the cover. And the Strangers and Freaks are not as memorable as they were in the previous game. But when you have moments that stick in your memory, like the assault on Braithwaite Manor, or fighting through Saint Denis on the tramcar, or when you're marching up the snowy mountain as John Marston going to confront Micah with American Venom blasting in the background, it's these amazing standout moments, these memories, that make Red Dead Redemption 2 my game of the year.